खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा, हमारा हमारा खलीफा हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to This Week with Huzoor. Last Sunday, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V inaugurated the Bait-ur-Raheem Mosque in Cardiff. We are honoured to present highlights of the inauguration and the keynote address of beloved Huzoor Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz.
मसहूर कर दिया मुझे दीवाना कर दिया.
Sunday, the 23rd of November 2025, marked another historic moment in the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in the United Kingdom. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz, inaugurated the Bait-ur-Raheem Mosque in Cardiff in Wales, and the first Ahmadiyya Muslim mosque to be built in the UK since 2023. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz, departed Islamabad on Saturday for the two-day visit to Wales. After arriving at the mosque, Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen unveiled the plaque and led the attendees in silent prayer. On the mosque grounds, Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen also planted a tree. Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen then proceeded to the prayer hall where he led members of the Jamaat in prayers. Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen also graciously met with various dignitaries who had attended the inauguration. Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen then took photos with Welsh members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen then made his way to the marquee to grace a special reception being held to mark the inauguration of the mosque.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Please be seated.
The program began with tilawat and translation, after which a report was presented by the regional Amir. During the event, dignitaries, including the High Sheriff of Glamorgan and the High Sheriff of Gwent, took to the stage and expressed their appreciation of the mosque and the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Member of the Welsh Senate, the Welsh Parliament, Jane Elizabeth Hutt, Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice and representative of the First Minister of Wales, also spoke at the event.
The opening of this mosque here, the Bait-ur-Raheem Mosque here in Cardiff, is a proud and historic moment, not only for your community, but for everyone in Wales who shares your commitment to diversity, inclusion, and community cohesion. And of course, that guiding principle, love for all, hatred for none, is a powerful message. It resonates deeply with us and reflects the values at the heart of Wales and indeed of the Welsh Government. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community's tireless work to promote peace, harmony and justice through interfaith dialogue, charitable initiatives and outreach strengthens our society, from fundraising for local charities and supporting humanitarian relief to hosting peace symposiums, youth engagement programs. You show how faith can truly be a force for good.
During the keynote address, Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen spoke about the role of the mosque in creating peace in society.
First of all, I would like to sincerely thank all of our respected guests for graciously accepting our invitation and joining us for the inauguration of this mosque. Your attendance at this purely religious and spiritual event demonstrates your open hearts and generosity of spirit. The purpose of this mosque like all true mosques, is to serve as a sacred place where people gather to worship Allah. Moreover, wherever we build a mosque, it also stands as a testament to our commitment to our neighbors and the local community. Indeed, the abiding message that echoes aloud from all our mosques is that where they serve as a place to worship Allah, they also serve to foster peace, compassion, and harmony throughout the world. Thus, today, with the firm intention of fulfilling these noble objectives, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is overjoyed at being able to inaugurate our first purpose-built mosque in Wales. According to Islam's teachings, when Ahmadi Muslims gather here to pray for themselves, they shall also pray for the peace, well-being, and security of all people. Given the misconception surrounding Islam, I understand that some people in the community may harbor reservation or have questions about the fact that a Muslim community has built a mosque here. Thus, at the outset, let me reassure you, our mosques are not built to sow discord, disorder, or to incite division. Rather, they stand as shining beacons of peace, love, and harmony, and reflect the deeply rooted, peaceful values of our faith. Thus, during the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, a group of malicious people built a mosque with ill intent to create disorder and cause harm. Upon this, Allah, the Almighty, instructed the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, to demolish that so-called mosque. So the purpose of a mosque is not fulfilled by its physical construction. Rather, a mosque only serves its purpose when it is used for both the worship of God and also to manifest Islam's true teachings of kindness, love, and compassion. The Quran has clearly laid out what is right and wrong. For example, in chapter 90, verse 14, Allah states that freeing an enslaved person is amongst the very highest forms of virtue. Whilst before Islam, slavery was a widespread custom amongst Arabs. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, issued an explicit and revolutionary instruction that slaves ought to be freed. He personally led from the front by liberating all slaves who had come into his possession. Thus, Islam came to end all forms of slavery in the world. You might wonder if the example of slavery is still relevant today. Regrettably, it is. While physical slavery has ended, another form of slavery, economic servitude, continues to oppress people in many parts of the world. Less developed nations are trapped by crippling debt, leaving them powerless to prevent the plundering and exploitation of their natural resources by rich and powerful countries. Ultimately, these vulnerable nations dictated to by the wealthier nations. Islam condemns such exploitation as a form of enslavement that must be eradicated because such inequalities and injustices inevitably shatter the foundations of global peace, something we increasingly witness today. Quran's emphasis on social care is further evident in subsequent verses of chapter 90. For instance, verse 15 states that feeding the hungry is a great virtue. Verse 16 establishes a duty to help and support orphans, and verse 17 commands Muslims to provide relief to the impoverished and weak. The Quran specifically instructs Muslims to help a poor man lying in the dust. These words are deeply significant, meaning Muslims are obligated to help those who are utterly crestfallen. We have no one else to aid them and who have been forgotten by society. While some people have family and friends to support them, Muslims are instructed to identify and to help those who have no one else. In economic terms, it means that if an individual has hit rock bottom and has no one to help him, a Muslim must endeavor to assist them and help them get back on their feet. Imagine the impact if all the nations of the world, including every Muslim country, acted upon this unifying, magnanimous principle. Surely it would be the means of tearing down the walls of crippling inequality, injustice, and ignorance that plague the world. And in their place, we would witness the majestic sight of rising tides of love, compassion, and understanding sweeping across society. The Holy Quran strongly emphasizes the rights of one's neighbors. Therefore, every Ahmadi who shall worship here is obliged to care for all of you and to manifest kindness and compassion. Similarly, they must show sympathy and extend support to all those who have struggles, including orphans, the hungry, or the infirm. Moreover, all those who enter this mosque must be peaceful, law-abiding, and obedient to the authorities. I am sure you will agree that there is nothing to fear from people who uphold such values. Let me also clarify that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community does not just make claims or speak in a way designed to impress others. Rather, we are determined to act on our teachings and to fulfill the demands of our faith. In short, we practice what we preach. For example, we have established hospitals and medical camps for the treatment of the poor and vulnerable in the developing world that serve people without distinction of religion or belief. Those who do not believe in God or reject our values or beliefs are treated with the same care, love, and sympathy as our own people. Similarly, we provide access to clean drinking water in remote parts of the world through the installation of water pumps and wells. Here in the Western world, people do not realize the true value of water and are unable to appreciate how difficult it is for some people in deprived countries to access it. Instead of going to school, many children frequently walk miles to fetch water for their families on a daily basis. This gravely impacts their future and means that without help, the cycle of poverty in which they were born is bound to continue. Accordingly, we identify areas of urgent need and send our engineers and experts to provide them with access to water in their homes or at their doorsteps. These life-changing humanitarian projects are taking place in Africa, Asia, South America, and other underdeveloped regions. We have also established orphanages, providing shelter, love, and care to some of the world's most vulnerable children. In terms of education, we have established hundreds of schools across the developing nations that provide primary and secondary education without any distinction. It matters not whether the students in our classrooms are Christians, Jews, Muslims, atheists, or follow any other belief. Every child is of immeasurable worth and value. So, with the grace of Allah, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is constantly engaged in serving humanity, and this includes supporting local charities and community projects across the United Kingdom. Our sole aspiration and motivation is to alleviate suffering and to enable people to live their lives with dignity. Thus, I am confirmed you will see for yourselves that this mosque will prove itself a true beacon of light. It shall shine forth not just for those who worship here, but it will project a message of peace and security for all people, irrespective of their faith or beliefs. Above all, it shall symbolize that serving Allah and serving humanity go hand in hand.
As the event concluded, Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen led the attendees in dua.
Wonderful. I've heard his address once on the radio on the Voice of Islam when he opened the mosque in Gillingham, and I thought he is such a holy man and wonderful voice, wonderful message as well.
I thought it was astonishing. I thought it was remarkable because although he covered huge areas, a wide general field of responsibility, and yet he was so particular and direct in his teaching, and I thought that was very powerful indeed. Anybody can say, you've all got to be nice to people. But when you say, when you sit down to somebody next to them in a train, that's when you've got to be particularly considerate. And when you're standing in a bus stop or something like that, he managed to take general principles and narrow them down to very particular things which people could go away with.
The message of the Caliph is fantastic from a policing side and from a community side. Who can argue with what he said tonight? Really embracing, really welcoming, so supportive, and it's a mature approach to the way we want to live our lives in society. So really thrilled what he said tonight as well.
I thought it was just admirable and had all the. I just think that you as a community, you're. I'm full of admiration, and I think you can teach the rest of us a good lesson. And your motto of love for all and hatred for none is an example to us all, and I think that came across in this speech.
Those were highlights of the inauguration of the Bait-ur-Raheem Mosque in Cardiff. We now end with our final segment, the Friday Sermon Summary.
In today's Friday sermon, Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, spoke regarding those who stayed behind in the expedition of Tabuk and Allah Almighty's displeasure with them.
Hazrat कहते थे آخر میں مسجد میں پہنچا. کیا دیکھتا ہوں کہ رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم بیٹھے ہیں, آپ کے ارد گرد لوگ ہیں. حضرت طلحہ بن عبید اللہ مجھے دیکھ کر میرے پاس دوڑے آئے اور مجھ سے مصافحہ کیا اور مبارک دی. مہاجرین میں سے اس کے سوا بخدا کوئی شخص بھی میرے پاس اٹھ کر نہیں آیا, اور طلحہ کی یہ بات میں کبھی بھی نہیں بھولوں گا. اور حضرت کعب کہتے تھے کہ جب میں نے رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کو السلام علیکم کہا تو رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا, اور آپ کا چہرہ خوشی سے چمک رہا تھا, کہ تمہیں بشارت ہو نہایت ہی خوش اچھے دن کی, ان دنوں میں سے جب سے تمہاری ماں نے تمہیں جنا تم پر گزرے ہیں. کہتے تھے میں نے پوچھا یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم, کیا یہ بشارت آپ کی طرف سے ہے یا اللہ کی طرف سے؟ آپ نے فرمایا نہیں, بلکہ اللہ کی طرف سے. رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم جب خوش ہوتے تو آپ کا چہرہ ایسا روشن ہو جاتا کہ گویا وہ چاند کا ٹکڑا ہے, اور ہم اس سے آپ کی خوشی پہچان لیا کرتے تھے. جب میں آپ کے سامنے بیٹھ گیا میں نے کہا یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم, میں اس توبہ کے قبول ہونے کے عوض اپنی جائیداد سے دستبردار ہوتا ہوں جو اللہ اور اس کے رسول کی خاطر صدقہ ہوگی. رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا اپنی جائیداد میں سے کچھ اپنے لیے بھی رکھو کیونکہ یہ تمہارے لیے بہتر ہے. میں نے کہا اپنا وہ حصہ رکھ لیتا ہوں جو خیبر میں ہے. میں نے کہا یا رسول اللہ, اللہ نے مجھے صدق کی وجہ سے نجات دی, اور میری توبہ میں سے یہ بھی ہے کہ میں ہمیشہ سچ ہی بولا کروں گا جب تک کہ میں زندہ رہوں گا, کیونکہ اللہ کی قسم میں مسلمانوں میں سے کسی کو نہیں جانتا کہ اللہ نے اس کو سچی بات کہنے کی وجہ سے اس خوبی کے ساتھ آزمایا ہو جس خوبی سے میری آزمائش کی ہے. اس وقت سے کہ میں نے رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم سے اصل واقعہ بیان کیا, میں نے جب سے رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم سے یہ بات بیان کی میں نے آج تک عمداً جھوٹ نہیں بولا, اور میں امید رکھتا ہوں کہ اللہ آئندہ بھی جب تک زندہ ہوں مجھے محفوظ رکھے گا. اور اللہ نے اپنے رسول صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم پر یہ وحی نازل کی, اور اللہ نبی پر اور مہاجرین اور انصار پر توبہ قبول کرتے ہوئے جھکا جنہوں نے تنگی کے وقت اس کی پیروی کی تھی. بعد اس کے کہ قریب تھا کہ ان میں سے ہر ایک فریق کے دل ٹیڑھے ہو جاتے, پھر بھی اس نے ان کی توبہ قبول کی. یقیناً وہ ان کے لیے بہت مہربان اور بار بار رحم کرنے والا ہے.